As of late, there's been like a shit ton of people like rising in popularity just out of nowhere, just from like little shout outs. And it kind of it's almost demotivating to see other people get skyrocketed to the top of the game so quickly, just based off of like one shout out or
Mhm. Mhm.
like being part of a group. Like I'm all
Mhm.
happy for them and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of examples
Yeah, I'm
because I
trying
don't
to.
know a lot of the names. I don't remember names. What's the fucking the corpse dude?
Oh,
The guy that
corpse
plays.
husband. Yeah, corpse.
Yeah, yeah.
Talks
No
like
one knew
this.
who that dude was
Yeah,
until
and then he
he
started playing
played
with PewDiePie and
PewDiePie, right?
yeah, PewDiePie in that
Yeah.
group, and then also one group that's really big YouTube wise right now. And because I play a lot of Minecraft on stream now, I meme the hell out of it. Is like the whole Dream group, like Dream,
Yeah, them too,
George Not
yeah.
Found, Sapnap, all them. Um, in all reality, like it's just kind of. I don't know where the root of that group started. I would assume it was the manhunt videos Dream did, and then he had all of his buddies on, and then the major thing with them is kids are just super like, Snap Nap, I know him.
Minecraft?
Well,
Minecraft.
it's Minecraft, and then it's like George Not Found, Fundy, like it's that group.
Funny George Not Found. I
But
don't know
yeah,
George Not Found. I only know him from the trending Twitter tab.
right, yeah. So, and then I think Corpse and all of them are kind of in that same. I kind of classify them all together just because they're all hitting this like rise of popularity. And then also they're all collabing, which is like the crazy thing to me because
Yeah.
you have like PewDiePie collabing, and this is gonna sound weird, but I think Among Us brought so many content creators together because you have fucking like PewDiePie playing with Corpse Not Found, he's playing with people from Mr. Beast like whole posse, and then you got like George Not Found, Dream, all of them all playing together, and I think it's just a matter of like networking just worked out in that situation for a lot of them, and then I think the only reason Corpse really got big was the whole like playing with PewDiePie thing, and you know.
It's definitely that like people he played with them and his voice kind of caught on. People were like, "Hey, you sound kind of cool." And obviously he was making music as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere. He gained like 2 million or like 2.5 mil in a month. And I'm like, "Oh shit, dude."
Right.
It really is 90% luck and I don't know, just getting reminded of that sometimes can be kind of demotivating. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like I'm happy for the people that, I wish them all the best, but
Right.
it can be demotivating for smaller people, and that's kinda all I wanted to touch on it because that's kind of what I was experiencing. It was like, "Well, fuck, dude." No
Yeah.
matter how much I put myself out and, like, I can be as genuine as I wanna be, but, like, it's it's
Right.
all luck.
Yeah.
It's all luck. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I was talking about this on my live stream the other night. Because someone came in, and it's weird because I'm not that big, like on Twitch or anything now. I get like, I think I'm averaging like 20 viewers or something, which is like really good for me. It's like doubled since the beginning of my last, I don't know, last couple years here. And I don't know. Someone was asking like, "Hey, how do you get so big on YouTube and Twitch?" I'm like, "Okay, one, I'm not big at all. Like that, I don't understand like where you're getting that." But at the same time, like looking back at like how I acted when I was younger and averaging like 2 viewers a stream like every night, I totally get that. Like I totally get looking at someone who's getting like 20 average or someone that's getting like 100 views on a YouTube video and saying like, "How do I get to your size?" And I think for me at least, the way I stay motivated is that idea that it's all luck. And that sucks, but at the same time, like I was looking at my videos and like the videos that have done well have no reason to do well in comparison to the videos that haven't. Like I feel like a lot of times I'll pour more effort into a video and it won't do as well. So I totally
Yeah.
get that. And then that idea of watching other people succeed. I've talked to you about this before, but like we collabed and I was like just a little bit bigger than you. And then I turn around and like in a week because of the Jonathan Galindo video and all the stuff you've been doing, you're up at 10K subs, and I'm like, how does that happen? So like on a
Yeah.
smaller scale, I see what I see what you're saying exactly, and it is 90% luck, and I understand that's demotivating, but I think for me at least, the idea that I could upload one video and that could be my million view video, like that's what's crazy to me. And especially with like TikTok now, and I know I keep bringing up TikTok whenever I'm talking about like marketing your content. But the idea that I could put a video up and it could get 500,000 views in a day, the chance of that is what keeps me motivated. So just like, I don't know. I think, and we've talked about this before, I think numbers are so toxic whenever you're creating content. Like, it can ruin your day. And like, whenever I'm live streaming, I turn off my view count. Whenever I'm posting a video, I try not to look at the numbers for like a week and just see if it did well or not.
That's smart.
And it's rough. Like, and that, I think that's one reason. That's one of the many reasons why I see YouTube and like content creation is like a full-time thing that people can do and like a viable career. Because in a way, like, it's more stressful than other careers at times, which is like bold to say because from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, they make YouTube videos or play video games or whatever. But there's so much that goes into it, and it's so mentally taxing that
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't see that.
I guess you kind of have to have been in it for at least a little while to kind of appreciate how much goes into it.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I guess with the smaller scale thing, I mean, with me, it's very different because I only went up in subs because I mean, I made the video on the whole Jonathan Galindo thing, and I skyrocketed to like 10K, and I was popping for a little while. I was getting like average 1K, like 1.5K, and I was like, holy shit, this feels really good. Like this is great. But obviously that topic stopped trending, so I stopped appearing in recommended sections, and it kind of dipped down a little bit. And I
Right.
noticed because I told you before, I stalk channels like a fucking hawk, dude.
Yeah.
And like the other channels that made similar videos to mine also saw a similar decline in views. So it kind of made me feel better. You know, it's not just me, but it
Hmm.
just that wasn't my break. Like despite the fact I have like 11.2K and you have like I think you have 2.36 if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Um it's we get similar views because, you know, a lot of people will watch one video that they like. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll subscribe.
Right.
Like, a lot of people don't think about who they're subscribing to and then they just never watch a video ever again.
Right.
But yeah, it's all luck. I understand that. I understand the whole thing about
Right.
that next video, that next stream could be your one to kind of pop, but I kind of think that does keep me going to a degree, but I think I'm kind of just running on, you know, it's fun. That's
Yeah.
literally the only fuel I have. Like it's enjoyable. I have an audience, which is dope, but like if it wasn't fun, then I wouldn't be motivated to make content for that audience. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a complicated. You're right. It's a complicated. It's taxing. It takes the energy out of you. It's annoying because it looks so easy from the
Right.
outside, and when you're a
Exactly.
kid, you think it's like, hey, that's really simple. I want to do that,
Right.
and you start doing it. It's like, holy shit, this is
Yeah. There's
this
a
is
lot that goes into
taking
it.
my ass by storm.
I think one big thing, like, so we're kind of talking about like corpse and all of them. Like, you got to have something that like makes you stand out, but you've also got to stay in a niche. So like, the best way I can explain this is whenever you're talking about, I know more about Twitch growth than YouTube growth. Whenever you're talking Twitch, at least, you've kind of got to have your niche. Which I've decided to kind of stray away from that idea. So in ways that hurts my growth a lot, but at the same time, like I'm kind of naturally falling back into the one of doing Minecraft content. It's a common thing to say, like, okay, whenever you're doing Twitch streams and stuff, you want to have your one game that you mainly play because you're always going to have, like, if you get a group of people watching, you want people to come back. And now the interesting thing about YouTube is you've got to have like your niches. So like you've got to have like a certain kind of content you make, but at the same time, like you mentioned, trending like affects that so much because like I'm sure there's still hundreds of thousands of people that if they saw your Jonathan Galindo video, they would be interested in it because it's an interesting
Yeah,
topic. But it's the idea that the algorithms of YouTube and Google or whatever have decided, okay, that's not a topic anymore, and so overall people stop searching it, which keeps feeding into that algorithm. So my thought with it, at least, I think it's important to like kind of have a niche. So I think you definitely do. Like you have a certain style of content you make, but at the same time, like you got to have that one defining feature, and then combine that with luck. Like if you're talking about Corpse, right? Like all he did was play like Among Us. He had his own stuff, But it's the idea that he had to do something to get big enough to get to PewDiePie's size, and his one defining feature is definitely his voice. Like that is definitely what set him off. I personally don't know much about his content at all.
He
But
used to be
it's
a creepypasta narrator.
I would
That's
believe
all I know
that.
about him.
Okay, yeah, that would make complete sense, actually. Okay. Um, I don't know. I think, which, I mean,
I
in all
think
reality,
you
that,
definitely kinda hit it.
yeah,
You were saying yeah, I mean, with him, yeah, it's definitely his voice. I mean, he gained like what 2.7 mil, and he's the only two pieces of content he's made in the last like 3 weeks or like months since he blew up were like two Among Us streams. That's
right.
it. That were
Mhm,
like 2 hours each. It's like holy fuck, are you kidding? That much? But obviously, it's from the music as well. You
right.
mentioned the whole niche thing, and I kind of want to quickly branch into that real quick because
Sure, sure.
I've always been confused about niches and the exact definition. Um, like when it comes to a niche, I didn't think I had a niche, but you mentioned that you thought I did have a niche. So what is a
Right.
niche to you?
To
Like,
me, I feel like the definition of a niche is like you have a, like, at least in YouTube content creation, like you have a certain thing you do and that's what you do. I think you have a certain style of video that people would consistently come back for. So like you are a lot. I've noticed that like you made like a video on like the Big Mac story that we kind of mentioned on stream, right? What you did is you sat down, you told that story, you did some editing, and put it up, right? That's the style of your video. I'm not trying. That sounded like I was trying to like degrade your content. I'm not. But
no, I
that's
get
like
it.
the style of content you do. Like you sit down, you make the content. Even if you're like playing a game, you're still just talking. You've got like a very like non-scripted, but like it feels professional style to your content. And I think to an extent, like that is kind of your niche. Like you're looking for people, you're trying to get people who want to watch like chill content and just kind of listen to someone talk. That's what you do. You're not like trying, like whenever you're playing a game, you're not trying to create like an objective in it. So like there's people that'll say like, okay, we're gonna play Among Us, but we're gonna play by this rule set, and people come for that. Or like we're gonna do Pokemon, we're gonna do a challenge run. People come for that. That's their niche. In the case of like Twitch streaming, I play Minecraft. That's my niche. In the case of like YouTube content creation, I like to have chill conversations with my viewers. That's your niche. I like to take this game and put it to a certain or play it a certain way. That's your niche. I think I think the definition of a niche, especially when it comes to content creation, is so loose that it's hard to say like exactly what a niche would be. And I understand there's like confusion, and I agree with you on that. But I think you have a certain style of video, and that itself is kind of your niche. Like you're looking for people that want that style of content to just sit back and listen to, instead of, I don't know. I guess that's the best way I could explain it. But it's just you've got a certain style
Yeah.
to your content.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I kind of because originally I thought niches meant more like like you said with like the games that you stream, for example.
Hmm.
Like for example, hey, I play Minecraft. I make Minecraft videos. I stream Minecraft, for example. Like your niche is Minecraft.
Yeah.
I never really looked at it like the style of video that you make
Right.
is the niche itself, or like just your personality can sometimes be a niche. Like just the way you speak. Like my videos, I've said to like my viewers before, I'm very happy with my content being background material,
Hmm.
and I understand that a lot. I mean, some people have told me that they straight up just put me on in the background and they just let my videos play one after the
Right.
other, and that's like I know a lot of people might not enjoy that because they're like, "Hey, you're not paying attention," but I don't really give a shit because that's like you said, that's kind of what I'm going for. I enjoy talking.
Hmm.
Like once I just get in front of a microphone, I can't stop and I'll start rambling about just irrelevant shit. So that's kind of half of the appeal
Right.
is, I'm just there to speak. And if people enjoy it and they want to pick that up and they want to use that as background material, then they can do that.
Right.
So I get that, like a background material kind of niche bracket, but obviously not 100%
Right.
background material.
See, I think
Um,
in comparison to like your content, to this is such a stupid example, but you think like game theory, where it's like over the top editing, like trying, they have an objective, right?
yeah.
Yours is, I have this concept that I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to talk about it. So I think if, like in the case that if you turned around and you started like over analyzing everything and like doing a bunch of math and shit, I think your main audience right now, the people that come to every single one of the videos you post, I think they would stop watching. Same way I think that if game theory got on and was like, okay, we're going to talk about this video game. I thought it was really good. I think most people would stop watching that as well. So to an extent, I think I think you're right in saying, okay, like your niche is Minecraft, because there are people that their main appeal is Minecraft, or my main appeal is I stream on Twitch and then upload the content. You know, like they have their main idea and that's their niche. You know, but
Yeah.
I think that I think that for sure your style of content could be classified as a niche as well. And I think once people like find you and you kind of identify as like, I don't want to say background content because again that's kind of like demeaning, but I feel like established as that kind of content that you can put on, you can listen to, you can just watch, and you're not really thinking too much about it. But like, you know, in the case of yours as well, you kind of we've talked about like that shit post nature that you got. Like it's like shit posting without being shitty. You know, like you've got like that kind
Shit
of style
posting
of
with
like
effort.
yeah, shit posting with effort is what we or what you coined. But it's that idea that like you've got that content that's just kind of there and it's still entertaining and funny because you're not just sitting there and talking like it's a podcast the entire time, you know? And I don't know. I think there's a certain appeal to your content, and I do consider that like a niche in itself.
Yeah, I think that's definitely obviously, I think both of our content's changed. I've watched some of your older stuff yesterday,
Hmm.
especially the submechanophobia stuff. I know a lot of it is clipped from streams, so that how that also plays into account. But
Right.
you've changed a little bit as well. I'm not sure what your reason for changing is, but like the main reason for me shifting, because one of my family members who knows about my channel, I'm not going to go into that,
Right.
but they mentioned it's like, hey, I watched some of your newer stuff, and it just seems um your style has changed. It's like it's less structured now. And I was like, well, the reason for that is because back when I made like Milk Tier List and Jonathan Galindo and the old Submechanophobia Reddit browsings, they were very that if you listen to the way I'm speaking and you listen to like the volume of my voice, it's very exaggerated. It's like I'm putting on a personality.
Hmm.
And I've kind of shifted from that because it was getting fucking exhausting. Like it's seriously exhausting on the brain.
Right.
And I don't know about you. I don't know if you put on like a character for videos. It doesn't seem like it, so you're probably doing a good job of either acting or covering that up. But for me, if I'm being disingenuous and I'm overacting and being like, "Welcome back to it," like I can't even do it without cringing out my ass.
Right.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Like I have to just be like, "Okay, hello. So I found this dumb video online, and I'm gonna watch it and talk about it for 5 minutes."
Right.
That's that's who I am. Like I don't want to fake it.
Hmm.
Because I know if I kept on making videos the same way I was making them in like May or June, even July, fucking even like that kind of style, I would get exhausted, burnt out, and it'd be like, that's not me, and I'd just begin to hate it.
Right.
So I don't know about you and why you kind of shifted, or
I'm
even if you noticed that you shifted.
yeah. That's an interesting thing to me. Like I've noticed that my okay, so like my content isn't as I don't know. It hasn't like as far as like the actual content of it. So like you're going from like the submechnopho or submechanophobia, and then I'm working into more like just playing Minecraft and talking about it, or like just cutting up stream highlights basically. I think what's interesting is like I didn't notice it, but I completely agree with you that like my content has shifted. And the reason I stopped doing the like the fear phobia thing that I was doing where I just talked about horror topics is because I tried it one day on stream again. I booted up like I had like some topic probably about like Disney or something like, and I started talking about it and it was just like, how did I ever make this content? Because this is like so boring. Like there's nothing here. But at the same time, that's I don't know. So I in a way like I kind of subconsciously knew that I was changing. But it's interesting to see that you like what specifically did you like notice about my content shifting?
I mean, for the most part, I just noticed. I don't really. I can't really put my finger on it. It's like watching. I don't really know. It's like no, it's not necessarily your tone. Like I noticed in my stuff when I went and watched my older stuff, my tone has changed. I didn't notice, but like it's not even necessarily the tone. It's just you just seem to enjoy stuff a bit more now. You just seem a bit more. I'm shit with describing things, but like a bit more upbeat.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, sure,
I'm not
sure,
I'm not descriptive, but yeah, it's hard to put my finger on it, but I just noticed something's changed.
right,
Like I've just noticed a change, um, and I get like the whole fear phobia thing, we spoke about this a little while ago as well. Um, you mentioned not wanting to milk the submechanophobia stuff to death
Mhm.
because obviously it was doing well and it was pulling views, but it wasn't pulling views for something you enjoyed, and that's almost worse than pulling no views.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
because then people are going to ask you constantly. If you go too far down that rabbit hole, they're going to constantly ask you to make that kind of content. And if that's not what you want to do long term,
Mhm.
then you've kind of just cursed your channel, and you're going to have to either ignore it or find a way to profit off of it. I don't really
Yeah,
know. I
for
kind of just
sure.
stopped. I mean, I might make another one. I found something that's actually probably worth making a video on, like a Disney animatronic I had no idea existed.
Yeah.
But like, unless something notable like that comes up, I couldn't just carry on making Reddit browsing videos. And
Right.
when we spoke about it before, it was very evident. I think it was the second time that you wanted to make a collaboration, and I brought up, we could just do Submechanophobia again.
Mhm.
And I remember you said that you don't want to keep
Yeah.
relying on that because that's
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
what you want to do.
What's interesting about that is like it's not so much that at the time I was like I don't want to do another one. It was more that I could like very clearly see in like the videos that I made, and if you go to my fear phobia playlist, it's an exact like decrease in views. Like it's so obvious that like submechanophobia had this like wave, and we both hit it, and we both rode it for a while. But as far it's exactly like what we were saying before, it was a trend. So I don't know necessarily, like I would be totally open to going back to it, but it's just the idea that like I don't know, like I sit down and it feels like disingenuous, I guess. Like I'll because
That's
the
the
whole
thing. There it
concept of
is.
it, was like I don't know, like I come on to stream and I talk about the topic and then I go on. But my actual stream content has turned more into just like sitting down and talking with my viewers. So whenever I get on and I'm like, today we're going to talk about fear phobia, it's that idea that, like, I don't know, like it feels almost scripted. And I don't want my live Twitch viewers that are there to think that I'm just like milking them for content. And I don't know. So I'm open to do it if I could like find a way around trying to make it a little bit more natural. But it just feels so stiff whenever I'm like, okay, now we're gonna talk about this on stream. Whenever I could just like be playing Minecraft and then someone brings up a horror topic and then I just kind of go into it. That's what happened with I think my most recent like popular not popular video, but the video that's done the best as of late was talking about like 2000s nostalgia. And what
I
happened
saw
in
that.
that
Yeah.
is I was just playing Cuphead, and then we started talking about Shirley Temple, and then I just went and started watching old commercials and stuff. So it's like, it's so, like, in that case, it just happened naturally on stream, and then I went back and I just edited it and threw it up. And that felt a lot better than being like, so on today's stream, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to do this. Like, I don't know. I think it's good to have, like, that structured way, but especially when I'm creating most of my content live, that's difficult to do without feeling very stiff and unnatural.
Yeah. I think. I mean, it just comes back down to making stuff on topics that you want to make videos about or streams about.
Right.
I think when it comes to submechanophobia, especially, like it was a trending topic, but it's also a topic that has like a lot left to be covered. If there's something that is genuinely interesting and that you're like, hey, I actually want to talk about this, you're not making a video because you're thinking, hey, this is gonna pull in views, this might get me some impressions. That's not why you're doing it. If you're genuinely interested in the topic and you actually want to talk about it, it's going to show in the content.
Right.
Like I've seen a lot of content creators and they've gone. I'm not going to name them because they're like quite big and I don't want to come across as
Right.
as an ass.
Yeah.
But like the people I used to watch when I was like 17, and they've kind of drifted into like milking trends, and I don't know
Hmm.
why they chose to do that, but it just makes them way less fun to watch because they used to make stuff that they would genuinely seem to be interested in back in the day, and now it just seems so they just seem so
Right.
bored, dude. They just
Yeah.
seem so bored. So it's very important to keep that up. But yeah, there's a few submechanophobia topics I wanna revisit, like a few specific things that people have DM'd me and it's been like, "Hey, I know you don't really talk about this anymore, but this is cool."
Right.
And one of them genuinely made me feel something for the first time in a
Oh.
while. I was like, "That's nasty, dude. I
Yeah.
need I
That's
need to talk about this at least once."
right.
Um, but it's not. I agree. It's not a subject that you can really sit down, if, for example, on a stream and be like, I'm going to talk about this for an hour straight because
Right.
that's mundane, dude. That's
Yeah.
boring.
I
That's
agree. That's
people are going to pick up on that and they're not going to enjoy that.
yeah.
Or at least I wouldn't personally. I mean, I don't know what other people enjoy, but
I was gonna give you some shit because 2 weeks ago you made a video called "Submechanophobia Disappoints Me," and
yeah.
I was gonna just poke fun at the fact like I thought you said you were done with it, but I was just gonna give you shit for that. But now that like we're talking about it, I think it would be interesting to kind of dive deeper into like even if we've already talked about it. So like in think like the sea serpent or whatever. I think it'd be interesting to like make a longer video talking about the history of it, and like actually kind of dive deeper into it. I think that's an interesting because like certain topics within that still like spark interest, like I'm still like I could
Yeah.
potentially make more content about that. But if you went into a full video about like the bunyip and like the different versions it's gone through, I think there's potential there to like kind of bring that back, but in a more natural light than just being like, okay, we're gonna go into the submerged animatronic subreddit and we're gonna talk about it. Because I mean, that's what
Uh,
I did the entire time, and I noticed like that's basically what you did too. Is like we just pulled out
yeah.
pictures from it and we just said
Dude.
that thing looks really creepy, and then moved on to the next one. But I think if we sit down and we like, I don't know, and again, like I don't want to get to that point where like what I'm making is like short form documentaries on shit, but like I think I think potentially like I could go back and I might go back to like a couple of specific animatronics and pull them up on stream and say this is the story of it, get chat's position if it's creepy or not, and make it into a quick video, And I think to that extent it would still be genuine, but it'd be a little bit structured. I think potentially you could do something in the same way. You talk about specifics of
Yeah.
certain topics and without having to be like, this is submechanophobia, be like, this is the story of the bunyip or whatever, and just kind of talking about that and talking about, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's not it's not something I'm proud of, but all of the old submechanophobia videos, like it was very obvious and I was very open. It was all just pulled pictures from Reddit. You could see the Reddit names.
Yeah,
Like
but you got to keep in
it's
mind, you did so much better of a job than I did. I literally like just pulled up the subreddit and literally like didn't even download the pictures and shit. Like you actually went to the extent of editing it. So you shouldn't feel bad about what you did at
I
all.
had to.
Mine is
Like I had to
so
force to do that.
mine is just I had my fucking webcam in the corner and I went to Reddit and I pulled it up and I'm like, this thing looks cool. And then I just moved to the next one. Like that's literally all I did and
It's
it did well. But at the same time, like that was what was natural for me, Like I wasn't trying to like
yeah.
script it out and make it like a whole video. And I think that's just the way my content is it's just mainly stream highlights, But
Mainly
that's
stream highlights, but like they feel like your content's very similar to Simply, who is a Mario 64 speedrunner. He has the world record for 120 star runs. I'm pretty sure 120 star he has the world record for.
gotcha.
But his YouTube channel is basically full of well edited Twitch clips, and when I say well edited, I don't mean like I mean the way I used to edit my videos is very I had a lot of criticism about like overuse of zooms, overuse of there's fucking flashing random memes on screen. It felt like watching your video would give you ADHD.
Right.
So I strayed away from that. But his when I say well edited, I mean just edited so that it doesn't seem like you've just pulled a Twitch clip and uploaded it to
Exactly.
YouTube and just
Yeah.
called it a video. Like it feels like a video.
Yeah.
And your content's very reminiscent of that. So even though you say like it's just my webcam in the corner the entire time, it's a good format because even though I was pulling the images, I was downloading them to my phone, dropping them to my Mac and editing them that way because I didn't have OBS at the time.
Hmm.
Um, it's two different forms of content. Yours was very more, way more like relaxed, like how we were talking earlier on. Like it's
Yeah,
something
for
I could
sure.
just, if I'm cleaning my room, I could put on Unique Geese diving into my deepest fears part 5 submechanophobia on the subreddit.
Right.
That's that's the kind of that's the kind of vibe that I think that I used to have.
Right. And I
But yeah,
might,
I think there's
yeah,
space for it.
I think for sure. And I think now that you brought that up, I might try to kind of work that style back in a little bit more. Because like right now, the only thing other than I'm like looking at my stuff, other than my newest video, which in all honesty, I kind of tried to like take inspiration from your stuff. I talked about the stolen Arby's menu, which is like a huge meme on TikTok right now that I noticed and I thought was interesting. But my idea with that was like, what if I try to do something that I just record and it felt a little bit unnatural, but like at the same time, I think there's a line because I've tried to pre record content before instead of just live streaming it and using that for content. And I think the issue is a lot of times whenever you do that, you think like, okay, I need to have a script of what I'm doing. But I think with like, I think that one I did okay on because I downloaded the images, I had them ready to go and look through, kind of like my older content. But I just talked and looked through them. I didn't like sit here with the script of like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about at this point. And I think that's one issue. And one reason that I try to do everything live is because I get into that mindset of I have multiple takes now. I'm just going to like keep going until I like what I have. And in the end, I end up hating it.
Yeah, I I think it works different for everybody. I'm definitely I mean, I've been watching I mean, you mentioned the whole just sitting down talking about a topic. I've been watching Some Ordinary Gamers and Moist
Hmm.
Critical
Yeah.
or Penguins. He has so
Hmm.
many usernames. I hate it. But
Yeah, true.
uh he both of their content is very much just they find out about a topic. I mean, Some Ordinary Games is it does way more research, I think.
Mm,
But they just sit down, turn on OBS, just press record and they start talking about it. And
right.
I've I've been so infatuated with that form of content for so long because it reminds me of like golden era YouTube or like 2007 YouTube where
Hmm.
people would just they would bare minimum editing like $30 Walmart camera for example. But obviously it's higher budget because it's 2020 now.
Right.
Uh, I just love that simple content because there's no flashy editing, there's no over the top shit. It's just an ordinary person like you and me sitting down to talk about a topic that they don't know too much about, so it's relatable. You're learning about
Right.
it together. Um, and because there's minimal editing, it just lets their personality shine through. And the reason that both of those creators are so big and so established and successful is is because of their personality. They have such amazing personalities, and they're both like absolutely hilarious. I love them both. Um, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm not like trying to imitate. I hate like imitating. I've
Yeah.
been compared to so many content creators at this point anyway. It doesn't really affect me anymore. But like that style of content is so good to me. So that was another thing that kind of helped me get out of my over editing
Right.
phase. Just constant. I mean, Final Cut was horrible for me anyway because you on Final Cut you can like add keybinds for certain effects. So I
Oh.
could create a custom zoom effect that would like zoom in and then cut to a meme, and I
Hmm.
could get that all with the press of one button.
Oh,
So
that's
I was
yeah.
just going fucking trigger happy on that.
I'm sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you can see a massive difference in terms of like editing style.
Right.
But yeah, I think sitting down about and just about like talking about a topic you've only just found out about, and just like I made a video, the Nikocado avocado one that I
Hmm.
did
Hmm.
like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Um, like I just saw it on my Twitter feed, and that's disgusting. I'm gonna make a video on it. And
Right.
it's 5 minutes, it's kinda funny, so I just put it on the internet. I don't
Right.
know, it's just whatever perspective you take on content. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you if you need to be a bit more prepared.
Right.
But to me, the whole Arby's video seemed alright to me.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you personally just because obviously everyone's their own worst critic, but I don't know how you feel about that video, but to me, it seems fine. To me,
Yeah.
it was good.
I liked it because it was a little bit more basic and it was different from my normal content, obviously, because I was
Yeah.
scripting it out a little bit more. But like at the same time, like now, kind of comparing like my old stuff to like that, I kind of like that it was just like, for the majority of it, it was just my webcam in the corner, and I was just talking about like what I knew about it and just kind of reacting to it almost, even though I've already seen it, and it just it was cool. It
Yeah.
was interesting. I think the one you mentioned having a few content creators you look up to. The one content creator I really look up to and who I want to be more like is Ludwig Ogren. I've talked to you about him before, I think.
Yeah.
He's the fastest growing I consider him, there's like specifics to that. He's the fastest growing Twitch streamer. He usually like plays with big names now, and I think he averages like I don't even know what his average view count is, but he went from literally 5 average viewers 2 years ago to being like one of the biggest content creators on the platform within that certain amount of time. And YouTube, honestly, is one thing that really pushed it for him. And all of his content, I think, I literally think 95% of his content is similar to mine in that he has his streams and he edits clips of that, but at the same time, he's trying to create like a narrative and like an actual video instead of it just being like stream highlights number 305 and it just being like, fucking whatever he did on stream.
Yeah.
But that's one form of content like I really want to lean towards more and what I've been kind of working at. And I think that's why my newer stuff is more like that because it's just like, I don't know, like I'll tell a story on stream, not really intending for it to be a video. And then I'll go back and I'll edit that and I'll, like I had one video that was this kid is a master debater. Um, and I talked about like a story I had at like a summer camp thing. I never intended for that to be a video, but I was able to edit it and it felt like a coherent video. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm leaning towards, at least, as far as future content creation.
That's I think it's good to have like creators you kind of watch and look up to. Obviously,
Right.
again, depends why you're making stuff. If you're making stuff for the money, then you
Right.
either don't have anyone to look up to, or you look up to people like Ali A, in which case I have no respect for that kind of content. But second, if you're making content for just because maybe just because you enjoy it, maybe you just it's like, hey, this is a funny video I found. I'm going to put it on the internet. Never check the analytics. I don't care who watches it. Maybe
Right.
then you don't have anyone to look up to. But for the most part, people have people that they look up to. So like
Right.
you and me both have creators that we both watch, and it's now that you mentioned Ludwig, I know you mentioned him before,
Hmm.
but now that you mention him again, and I kind of think about it, I see it, like I see it.
Right.
Um, but it's not like huge. It's not like to the point where I'd start commenting on your videos on an alt account. Just don't be a copycat kind of type beat.
Right. Yeah.
It's not that kind of. There's taking inspiration, and then there's just all out, just ripping somebody off.
Yeah. And
Um,
I completely
there's a
agree.
big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
That's where I don't want to end up. So like the content itself isn't identical to his, but like the format is what I'm trying to kind of lean more towards because it just works so well for what I'm doing. And that's
Yeah.
kind of my end goal is to be I want to be a variety streamer on Twitch that also makes this stuff into YouTube content. That's kind of the end goal for me. So I mean that's what he's doing and he has a good
I think
format.
having both platforms is very beneficial.
Right. I think so too. I mean I don't know. I don't know at what point I decided like I wanted to stream on Twitch instead of mainly just focusing on YouTube. But at the same time, like I think they go hand in hand really well. But at the same time, like if someone has a good YouTube audience, like for you example, I would not say go and stream on Twitch because you already know like if you want to, you can go stream on YouTube and it'll do pretty well and it'll generate its own YouTube video and stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. Like if you start on Twitch, you kind of need to be on YouTube or any other platform as well, kind of advertising your stuff. But if you're on YouTube already and it's already doing pretty well, honestly, just put more time into YouTube. And
I think so. I think it. I mean, I've tried both
mhm,
before. I've considered a few times because all it takes is switching the stream key over to
mhm,
Twitch and seeing how that goes.
right,
I've considered it a few times just for the sake of having two platforms.
mhm,
Um, but I don't know. It's something I'm gonna look into because obviously I like the YouTube streaming. The YouTube streaming is annoying. The interface is annoying. I've been playing around for the last week with it, and it still
right,
pisses me off.
yeah,
Um, but at the end of the day, that's not my like main draw anyway. That's literally 100% just for fun. So whatever
mhm.
platform I do that on,
It doesn't really,
it
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
right,
And obviously, it makes itself into a video, but it's like an entire stream put up on video, and I don't know how many people go back and watch entire streams. I haven't really
right,
seen many people watch apart from my when I did like that Super Luigi 64, like the 16-star run.
mhm,
People probably watch that. Like I saw a bunch of people rewatching that probably because it's like, oh, it's a run of the game. It's the entire game. That's probably why.
right,
But if it's just like, hey, this is a stream where I play Among Us for a bit, and then I talk, and then I play Phasmophobia for a bit, and then I
right,
play. It's like that's I don't know who's gonna go back and watch that. So I
yeah,
don't know. I'm thinking I might I might for a while just switch switch over just for shits and giggles.
Right. Just
But
see. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
just to see what
Mhm.
happens. 'Cause, I mean, I did it before,
Yeah.
and a few people have asked, like, if I would do it.
Right.
Um, maybe, maybe it's smart to split it up. Maybe it's not, but we'll see. That it's all subjective. It's all different for everyone. I think for the most part, you're right, though. I think if you are established on YouTube, you know,
Right.
it could be smart to stay there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am established. Like I have a viewer base on YouTube that stays there.
Mhm.
But I think if I added Twitch as well as kept streaming on YouTube, that could potentially bring more viewers to YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I would
But
just kinda play with it, and especially in a case like that, like, that's not, like, a permanent decision, you know? Like, it's not like that's gonna change what you do on YouTube, you know? So, like,
no,
if that's what you
not
wanna
at all.
do, just give it a shot, you know? I completely agree with that.
Exactly.
I was just saying more to the effect of, like, people that decide, "Okay, now I'm gonna stream full time on Twitch instead of focusing on YouTube," and making that switch, but if that's just something you're doing in addition, like you are right now anyway with streams,
It's
totally
like a
get it.
supplement. It's like
Right.
you don't just take a protein shake and as your meal for the day, right? It's supposed to be
Right.
like a supplement or some
Right,
shit. I don't know. I don't
right.
work out,
Yeah.
but it's something along those lines.
Mhm.
It's like it's like a supplement tablet for your content that already exists. It's like doing
Right.
TikTok, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you started unique geese full-time TikTok account and
Mhm.
you just ditched Twitch and YouTube,
Right.
like okay, that's cool, but what the fuck happened to the
Yeah.
rest of your content?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it's a supplement. All these extra things. The same thing as Twitter. It's the same to me. And anyway, I don't know how you see it.
Mhm.
The same thing is like you pick your main thing. So for you, it's Twitch. For me, it's YouTube and everything else you do is a supplement.
Yeah. No,
So,
that like exactly. That's like
yeah,
the end goal. So like that's why I always say like I was explaining this to someone. I've got I'd call him a buddy, even though I just kind of pop up in his streams and he pops up in mine occasionally. Um who's like a digital artist, like he'll draw and stream. And what I was telling him, like he was wondering like, "Hey, why do you know why I'm not growing on Twitch? I've been streaming for like 2 years now, just doing my art stuff almost every night." And I'm like, "What you need to do is literally just download your VOD, download your stream, bring it into Premiere Pro, split the cam so you have your webcam on the bottom, and then throw your art up top and put it in like a vertical format, and then just throw a time lapse on TikTok." Because like I YouTube's a little bit different because it has its own algorithm. Twitch, I would say 95% of my viewers came from another platform, be it TikTok or YouTube or whatever. So in that sense, like I completely agree, it's a supplement. And especially in his case, like you can't expect people in such a big category like art. There's not going to be people that find you on Twitch. So you need to do stuff like get on TikTok, throw some speed art, some time lapses on YouTube because I know art does really well on both of those platforms. Because people are like, yeah, I want to draw. So I'm going to go and I'm going to look up a time lapse or it's going to pop up in my recommended if I already watch different art YouTubers or art TikTokers or whatever, you know. So I was explaining that to him like in all reality, the editing for that takes about 5 minutes. To make a short form TikTok video, just go to speed, bump it up until it's under a minute, and then just move your webcam down and your content up, and I 100% guarantee you'll see growth. And I mean, and taking that step is hard for some people, and especially like I think there's a lot of stigma behind TikTok not being a great platform for people. And I've talked to you about TikTok. I've talked to probably 10 or 15 other people about like how TikTok isn't really the platform for them, and I get that. But it's just like to me, I look at TikTok as such a resource. I'm not a TikTok creator. Like as we said, like I very rarely make a video with the intention of it being just for TikTok. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of weird not to use a platform where you could easily get like 20,000 views a video without trying and having that and then not using it as a resource. So, I mean, that's kind of my take on it. And I completely agree. Everything that I do outside of Twitch, the main goal is to get people to come over to Twitch and check it out, you know? And that's where I'm at with it.
that's very yeah, you're not the only there's like huge streamers that do that as well. Someone I don't know, you probably don't know because you probably don't watch Dead by Daylight streams, but True Talent is like one of the biggest Dead
Mhm.
by Daylight streamers. His YouTube channel is kind of it's literally just stream clips. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't do barely any editing, it's just stream clips. But I watched him on YouTube first. Like that's how I found him
Right.
because I was watching another content Dead by Daylight creator,
Hmm.
and I found him through that, and I just watched him. And at the time, I didn't even know it was Twitch clips. I was just completely ignorant to it.
Yeah.
And I was
Right.
like, oh, I can watch this dude live. I'll go over to his other platform. So
Hmm.
it works.
Yeah.
Like supplementing your main, it's like this is where I am mainly, but you can check me out. It's like big form advertising, if that's the correct
Yeah.
terminology.
Yeah. Sure.
It's you're advertising yourself, but on a different
Right.
kind of platform, on like a bigger scale than just throwing up a Google ad that no one's gonna click on.
Right.
Um,
I
yeah,
can
it's smart. It's smart to do that.
I completely agree with that. I think that's good. Uh, so last night, I know I'm getting off topic here, but I'd like to not be talking about content the entire time. Last night I did a Halloween stream. I played Phasmophobia for the first time. I had no
Oh,
clue what the fuck was going on in that game, dude. I was so confused. And I think half the issue is I was playing in VR because I didn't like I was already
oh,
streaming FNAF VR. So then I'm playing this game. I'm like up in the I need to make a video out of it because I definitely think I could like edit that into a solid video. But I'm like up in like in a house, and I guess who I was playing with, who have never played the game either, they're like, we're gonna use him as bait. So I'm sitting there with a fucking Ouija board. I've got the fucking EFM or EMF or whatever, and it's red the entire time, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just got scared as hell on stream. It was so funny.
it's such a good fucking. I am ashamed on it of how many hours I have on it already. I know how to solo run it. I've it's unhealthy, but I'm more than happy to play that. I mean, I would recommend maybe if you want to play for like, funny clips, VR is probably best. If you want to play for like if you want to sweat at the game,
Right.
maybe not VR.
Hmm.
But
Right. Yeah.
it is scary even when you're like sweating just trying to like win and like speed it. It's it's fucking bull quaking, dude. It is horrible.
It's so
Like it's
dark. I don't know if it was
one of
just
the
my
creepiest games
headset.
I've ever played.
I don't know if it was just my headset, but it's so dark. Like legit, until
Yeah.
I find a light switch, it's just pitch black, and I'm just like, fuck, 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 fuck. I wish the flashlights that you had on like your shoulder were just like a little bit brighter. Then the game
Do
personally
you
would be
not
more
use
playable.
the
Well,
do you
I
not use the
well when you
flashlights?
got three people and you have one, you're like,
Oh,
So then I'm using. I called it the cum light, the black light thing that you have, you know.
yeah.
Called it the cum light because that's what you'd use to see if there's cum in your bed. Anyway, I'm like using that as like my way of navigation. I'm like, oh fuck, like it was difficult. I might have just been my headset, but I legit could not see anything for 95% of the game, and I haven't looked at like the stream clip yet, see if it's different. But I don't know. It was some scary shit, dude. I don't know how.
That's
I'd have to like
yeah.
really get into it and really learn it. And I like did like half the training. Like I sat through like the slideshow just so I could get the idea of it, and then I tried to go and play, and I'm like, I have no clue what's going on, but it's
Oh yeah,
okay.
the ghost will never during the tutorial, the ghost will never show up. It'll just like it'll throw shit around and do all of the stuff it usually does, but it'll never
Mm,
show up. It's just for you to
right.
practice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, with the flashlight thing, you once you get some more money, you can buy like a better flashlight, and
Oh.
that is like the best. It's only like $40 in game, so
Mm,
it's pretty cheap.
gotcha.
But it is the key tool. Like you need that. That's like
Mm,
the meta. It's like the thing on your shoulder
mm-hmm.
should just be that because the thing on your shoulder is useless. It's
Right.
awful.
Yeah.
Um, but it's made such an impact. They updated it for Halloween. They added some ghosts. They added a new ghost model that
Mm.
made me piss myself. It can crawl on the ceiling and shit. I hate it.
Uh.
Um, but they're doing. He's a one man dev
Oh,
team, and
really? I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
I
sick.
think he's hiring some help now because it's popping. Like the game is starting to
Right.
take off.
Well, damn. Yeah, I
But
didn't know
it's
that.
so impressive
Yeah.
that one guy can. Like it's all luck, dude. All of this stuff is just luck. It's just if
Mm-hmm.
a big streamer or creator plays your game,
Yeah. That
and I mean
that's
he's hit the jackpot, and it's a great game. So
right. I've got so much respect for one person development teams because I mean, like, I don't know if I've mentioned it to you, but I've talked about it on stream quite a bit. My original goal was to be a game developer, and I started working on my own game. I've still got all the concept art. I don't know if I have the project files for like the first level, but it was like this game where you could run around, and the idea was it was supposed to be like in your nightmares as a kid. So instead of having guns, you had like what kids would use as weapons. It's like one of the easiest and first weapons to get is you collect a bunch of markers and you can bring it to like a crafting bench and you can make a sword out of them. I don't know if you ever saw
Oh
kids doing
yeah.
that, but like I called it like sketch caliber or something, but it was a bunch of dry erase markers like clicked into each other and used as a sword. And the idea was you were going to fight enemies from my nightmares, like as a kid. So I just had to like sketch up all these like vague ideas of like kind of cartoony like enemies that I had like as a kid in my mind, and the idea was really really cool. I got done with the first level, and I'm like, yeah, when I'm 40, I don't want to be like coding and working on games. Like I'm gonna be so stressed. So that's kind of why I moved on to like focusing on graphic design. But I don't know. So I have mad respect for anyone that like completely finishes a game on their own, or even like 3 or 4 people teams. Like it's insane how much work goes into like making a game. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not easy. I used to dabble in I think the most I've done in terms of like game dev stuff. I used to make like some Newground stuff when I
Hmm.
was a kid, but I also did I was quite big on Super Mario 64 modding. I know that's not the same.
Okay,
When I was
no,
like
I gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, when I was like 10 or 11, I used to mod it. I had this shitty old like Dell laptop from like 2007 and it was dying. So I was like, it's going to die anyways. Let me download a ROM of Mario 64 and every tool on the face of the planet to just destroy this PC and see how much I can push it before it just collapses and kills on me.
Right.
Um, I made some pretty decent mods. I think I made like a fully fledged Luigi's Mansion mod. I didn't know how to share them,
Right.
so I made like they're on this dead PC. I still have the PC, and I don't think I can ever recover them. But I
Right.
made some like really cool like ROM hacks and shit.
Hmm.
Um, but I haven't done like a game from the ground up from
Yeah.
scratch. I don't know the first thing. Like I think
Hmm.
if I was ever gonna do stuff for games, it would be like assets. Like I could do
Right.
music for games. I could do
Hmm.
sound design for games.
Hmm.
That would probably be my expertise.
Right.
Definitely sound design.
Hmm.
But, like, the actual coding process, I'm gonna leave that to people who love coding
Right.
because I I'm
Exactly.
not a
Yeah.
fan.
That's
It's
what
just
screwed
not
me
my
over on that
thing.
one. What's interesting is I also had a shitty Dell computer that was dying, and I got into modding doing that. But instead of Mario
Kill it.
64, I was super big into Pokemon modding. I would mod like Pokemon Fire Red and Emerald to hell. I would make custom levels. I would add Pokemon to the game. Like it was, there's still a big ROM hack community, and like what's awesome about that is content creators love playing ROM hacks. So I spent so much time again downloading like all these like tools that people like had out on like Spanish websites and shit, and like downloading them all and working on and like okay, this is how you change the starter with this tool, and this is how you modify a map with this one. So it I went down the same road, and then eventually that modding idea kind of like sparked up again, and I started working on Super Smash Brothers Brawl mods, and that's how I got the Sans mod that I worked on in 2016. It got me.
You made
It's my.
sense.
I hate Undertale Sans. Fucking Undertale Sans and Super Smash Brothers SSBB and Project M PSA mod. Over 500,000 views on my YouTube channel. I'm literally gonna
Oh, that's
throw.
the one.
Yes, because I worked on that mod with a small team, and then the rest of the small team got cyberbullied off the face of the planet because you worked on a Sans mod, you loser. I was the only one that like withstood the cyberbullying. So like all of their names have been removed from the project. So in a way, that's my only thing. And they took down like the download links for it and shit. So the mod's gone. And I don't know, it's crazy. I want to make a video on that, like talking about like the history of that mod because
That's cool.
yeah,
Like, that's genuinely kind of
yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I worked on
I
that
mean,
with a
now he's
small
actually in the
team.
game, but
Right. Yeah, he's actually in the game, but like this was 2016 when Undertale was like just now starting to get big. And that's what happened is
yeah.
like the actual Undertale like community kind of blew it up to like 20,000 views, and I remember that being crazy. And then all the memes about him being in the like possibly being in the game like as a joke like sparked it up to like 500,000, and then whenever it actually got into the game it was like another like 100,000 views that sparked it up. So it's crazy with how many views it has, and it still consistently gets like a couple hundred views a month, which is wild. So
That's good. That's wasn't that like your first video on your channel?
I think I had videos before that, but I deleted them because I was like, I don't really want them on there, and they were just like random gameplay. But yeah, that was my first video like that's on there right now. And then I worked on another brawl mod that added a new stage to the game that was based on the website Kahoot. You know, the Kahoot.
Yeah.
I added that shit to the game as a stage, and it's got like 2,000 views or something. But like I don't know. It's crazy that I worked on that with a small team and just like I didn't even do much. I did a couple animations and I like talked about ideas and they kind of like carried it. But it's the idea that like I worked on that just out on my shitty computer at home and it evolved into my highest grossing video. So
You don't need high-end everything to make cool stuff. Like, you
no, not
don't
at all.
need.
Not at all. Like I hate whenever people like message me like I tried to live stream or I tried to make a YouTube video, but my computer is really shit. And I'm like, "Oh, what are your specs?" And they've got like a better computer than I did like back whenever I started doing stuff, and I'm like, "Dude, just make videos. Like make what you want to make." Like it's crazy how I don't know, close-minded like kids now are. Like I have to have a high-end computer to play games. Like no, your quality might have to go down quite a bit, but I was playing Skyrim on my shitty like laptop that was made for like Windows Microsoft Word writing, like just a shitty little like 13-inch little notebook. And I was making content off of
Right.
that. So it's just like you got to work with what you have and as you grow in life and as you realize you have more money, if that's something you want to do and like kind of invest and slowly start working on, like that's something you can do then. But like going out and making your original bit of content or making your mod to that game or like doing whatever, most of the time it's a little bit of a pain and it lags a bit, but you can do it. And I think there's so many people that are closed minded with that.
Yeah, I think, equipment shouldn't matter, and that's, like, to bring back something from earlier on.
Hmm. Right. I don't
To bring
know.
back something from earlier on with Penguins or Moist Critical or whatever, like, for I think it's, like, 14 years he's been on the platform now.
Hmm.
He's had, like, like, some shitty camera and
Hmm.
just, like, a stand he has the exact same mic that I do. Um, you don't need if you just wanna make videos, you don't need equipment, dude. You just need
All
a
right.
camera and a laptop. Everything else is extra. It's like if you wanna go the extra mile, but like, start doing stuff while you're doing going the extra mile. Like, don't
Right. Don't like
don't don't
wait.
get all of the equipment. It's like if you yeah, that
Hmm.
seems so stupid to me. Like, why would you buy, like, a fat cinema camera, and with 0 subs and no like, that's stupid. Just use whatever you've got. Use your phone camera. Your phone camera is probably better than
That's
most
facts,
camcorders
dude.
today.
That's how I started streaming. Is I wanted to shiny hunt in Pokemon, so I got my like iPhone 4S and I downloaded this app that let you use it as a webcam. I set it up. Didn't have a face cam, but I was sitting there and I was streaming myself playing Pokemon, just recording my DS live on stream. It took no resources to do that. I had a shitty computer. I had a little, my phone with an app. I just played the game, and I mean that's how I got started. So that's my biggest pet peeve when people message me like on Discord or whatever, like, "Hey, I want to be a bigger, I want to like really work on my streams, but I don't have the resources to do it." I'm like, "You do. You just got to scale it down. You got to realize realistically what you can do." But that's no excuse not to get started with what you want to do. If you genuinely okay, that's another thing that's like always bugged me. Like if there is something you're passionate about in life, never wait to get started on it. Like there was a girl in one of my like high school classes or whatever, and we were talking about like how she wanted to be like an animator or whatever back in junior high. And I asked her, I'm like, "So what animations have you made?" She's like, "Oh, I don't have the resources to do it." Knowing full well that she had like an iPad at home that she drew on, she had like a computer at home. Animation, while it's nice to have the fancy programs and stuff, draw up some frame by frame animation and toss it in Windows Movie Maker. Find out if you really like animating, or like if you really want to get into content creation. Start making shitty videos with your buddies. See if you like making videos. I don't understand why people don't just try it. Like put yourself out there if there's something you genuinely think that you want to get into.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I think a lot of people, they just see certain aspects, especially when it comes to content creation, right? I mean, I'm guilty of doing it when I was a kid as well, but like they'll pick out certain aspects of being a content creator full time or like a
Mhm.
streamer full time. I get to play video games all day and they
Right.
want that luxury.
Yeah.
But like they see the luxury, like for like they want to be, for example, like a Doctor Disrespect viewer. They're gonna want like the 10 grand PC. They're
Right.
gonna want all the extras that comes with it. Um, but you don't get that. You don't get that.
Right.
That's not what you get. That's not the starting point.
Mhm.
Um,
I
but
agree. I agree completely.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just that's weird to me. That's a weird topic. I was gonna make a video at some point soon anyway, that, titled like "How to Become YouTube Famous," and it's just talking about this stuff
Right.
basically anyway.
And I think that's
Um,
actually a solid title, and that's a solid topic because you're not like lying if you say that, but like it's a good opening statement of like you got to be in all reality, you got to realize what you have, what you're doing, and realize like to the extent of what you're getting yourself into, and that like because I would never want to discourage someone from like streaming or doing YouTube or whatever, but you got to realize there's so much more that goes into it than what you have, and then you shouldn't ever look at yourself negatively at where you're at in terms of content creation, because as you do stuff you get better equipment, you keep evolving and doing what you need to do, you know.
yeah,
um, Good idea there.
that's
Okay,
smart.
let's see. So we've been recording for a little over an hour now, so this might be a good time to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Just have it
That's
titled
good.
content
That's good.
creation or whatever. If you guys enjoyed hearing this, make sure to drop a sub here on the YouTube channel. I think if we do end up getting big enough, we might look into expanding the podcast out to different platforms other than YouTube, so it's easier for you guys to listen on Spotify or iTunes or whatever. We'll work on it and see how that goes. If you guys keep supporting us, we'll go from there. My name is Mason or Unique Geese. You can find me on Twitch or YouTube at Unique Geese.
I am Piranharoni. I have a YouTube channel. It'll be in the description. Please,
Mm-hmm.
please help. I'm s- please help my internet growth. I'm literally starving. I actually haven't eaten in a long time, so
That's fair.
please help.
Number go up, make big man go
Number
hee.
go up. Make number go up,
Make
please.
number
Link
go up.
description. Click.
Link description, view more, yes.